G'day guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to do a little bit of a how-to or how I do things, what I've learned works for me. I've got hooded eyes, so I find doing a cut crease or a halo eye, winged liner, all of that sort of thing a little bit trickier than a lot of other people. Also I have very low brows because I'm a dude. But I have low brows. So yeah, I'm going to show you how I kind of do things, how I blend out eyeshadows. I have seen a few people on Twitter kind of comment about they struggle with cut crease or a halo eye, they struggle with winged liner when they have hooded eyes. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a how-to. But I'm only going to be focusing on one eye. I'm not doing a whole thing. This is literally just a how-to, how I do things. So if you're interested, stick around. If you're not interested, stick around. Yeah, let's do this. So, as you can see, I've kind of brought you in a bit. I'm going to start off with the Makeup Revolution. I don't know if you can see that. Yes, you can. The Makeup Revolution brow pomade. I actually quite like this, and it was so cheap. I do love a good cheap bargain. So what I'm going to do is slightly too much here. So what I'm going to do is focus on this eye. Getting a little bit of product on my brush. It's really hard to do it when you don't want to look down. I've been told this is like the Anastasia Beverly Hills dip brow. So what I'm going to do is see how my eyebrow kind of ends here. What I do is kind of come under first. Kind of that's the shape you're going for. This is really awkward. Then going through the top. Just like that. Fill it all in. It does not have to be 100% perfect, because what you don't get perfect you can carve out with a bit of concealer. And those that know me and have seen my other brow tutorial, you know I don't do the whole Insta block brow. So what I do is I come underneath here and then I kind of feather that up. Just like that. Then what I do is I get a little spoolie, which I have right here. So like a little spoolie. And it keeps the front of it quite natural, which I like. I do put brow gel on this, but I'll do that afterwards. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go in with a bit of my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand because it's got a massive dofer on it. And then I'm going to go in with my favourite brush that I use for concealer all the time and go in here. Now what I'm going to do, just underneath. I don't do it on top because I find that looks a little bit weird. And that's all I do with that bit. Then I kind of use I've got a little concealer buffing brush. Kind of buff that down a little bit because I don't want it to be like a harsh, whatever you want to call that. And then after I've done that, I kind of go in with, I actually do it. I go in with either, I've got a Rimmel, what is this called? brow gel and dark brown, but I've actually been using the Anastasia one. I just got this as a sample from Sephora. And I just kind of brush it on there, make them brows look all on fleek. Do people say that? God, I'm a dick. So you can see how that still looks very natural. Now, so I'm going to leave that for now. Finish there. So what we'll do now is, I don't know what I'm talking about that, is, why do I have any makeup wipes here? Oh, I'm so unprepared, honestly. I think one dried out old makeup wipe. So now it's the time when you go in and you do your own ones. So for me, I actually use the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas as an eyeshadow. Oh shit, she's water. As an eyeshadow base. So all I do, that's enough. It's probably more than enough, to be fair. And I just use the same concealer brush. Buff that in. Now I take it under the eye as well, because I basically put it anywhere where you're probably going to put eyeshadow. Beautiful. Moving on to the actual eyeshadow application. I'm first going to dunk into the, I dropped this and it broke one of the shadows. I'm going to dip into this shade right here, which is called Botticelli. I mean, this is a gorgeous palette. And if you want to go and check out Wicked Artistry, you can use my code BRB, all capitals. Actually, what I might do first is go into Lippy and add that as in the crease area as a transition shade. I'm just going to do that on a big fluffy brush. What one do I want? I'm going to do it on my Jessup Soft Crease 221. And then all I'm going to do is straight on that tacky layer, because as you can see, it's not creasing. Or maybe it is. No, it's not creasing. And all it is just to kind of put a soft, that's all you need to do. So now what I'm going to do is go in with the Botticelli. I'm going to put it on the outer corner, the inner corner, and kind of blend it up through the crease. This is a highly pigmented shade. So what I'm going to do is, I need to watch what I'm doing, sorry. It's there. The thing I love about the Wicked Artistry shadows as well is they will actually blend themselves out if you do them right. I'm going to go to a slightly smaller brush on the inner corner. So that's just kind of going up in the crease there. Oh, hold on. So all I'm going to do is take that corner, fluff it out. Beautiful. I'm going to go in with a slightly denser brush actually, because that one's got a black on it. I don't know why. I'm going to go in with a sort of a longer crease brush. Just keep blending that until you're happy. What I want to do, I do like that actually. That's really lovely. Just with a cleaner brush, just to kind of diffuse those edges. Yeah. Awesome. So what I want to do is kind of take a little bit of that Botticelli into the lid a little bit more, especially in the corner here. On the outer corner as well. Because if you build this Botticelli up and pack it on and pack it on, pack it on, you actually end up with a beautiful, almost very dark smoky actually. It's great. It's great. Now what I tend to do is look straight forward, look at the mirror, and you can actually see the point in which you need to cut the crease. So what I'm going to do is actually do that now. I'm going to go in with the same stuff I used before, but I think I might use a different colour. I'm going to go in with the cut crease in Halo, which is more of the whiter colour. And I'm going to again put that on the back of my hand. I actually put that on with a different brush. I put that on with that. It's a very small sort of shadow brush. So this is where you look forward, and you can literally tuck that in there, and it does a little transfer. That's what you need. So that when you open close your eyes, it doesn't transfer from the top to the bottom. The other thing I really like about this stuff is it dries fast, and it dries white. It dries matte. So see how I've kind of done that in more of a tornado shape. What I now want to do is go in with... It took me ages to find these brushes, I don't know what I'm doing now. Sort of this brush here. A shader packing brush. Taking that Botticelli again, and just all I'm going to do is tap it on to blend it out. Might just put a smidge white here, and then quickly get in with that. your best blending tools are your fingers. So don't be afraid to put your fingers on your eyeball. You know, sanitizing, of course. You know, wash them. Rhinos. Now what I really want to do is I'm gonna let this set up for a little bit actually, because once you've mixed that purple in there, it gives it a beautiful purple hue. I'm gonna take a sort of, what it's called, it's a smudging brush, and I've dipped into a little bit of, in the James Charles palette, what's it called? I'm going to dip into, why is there no names on anything? Okay, this is fun. I'm going to dip into this purple here, the one right here, and kind of use that to smudge around the top here again. Only because it's slightly lighter. Oh, actually no! I'm going to go back into Botticelli and do it. So all I want to do is darken up in that crease line there. See what I mean? It just gives a bit of pizzazz. Beautiful. And going back in with that crease brush before, going on top of it, not onto the actual halo part, but above it, and then just kind of line that out. So what I want to do from the James Charles palette is actually go into the white. I don't know what it's called because nothing's got a name on it. You know, I don't understand. Why don't they got names? So, brush me. I want to go in with. I'm just going to take my, what's this? M330. And just put that white on it. And just on the centre part. See how it kind of, pew! Really kind of highlights that halo. Now, with liner, we're up to, oh, let me get rid of all this stuff off my hand, it's nasty. With the liner, what I do is, I do it in two sections. So, I'm going to do the gels after I've done liner. What I do is, I'm going to go in with, going to go on my Fenty Beauty one. Now, with this is how I do it on me. I kind of look forward for it. So you're going to have to look, you'll see it from the side. I follow that line there. Up. Let me zoom you in a bit. So you can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm got that line there. Then I go from about here, there. So, oh, maybe I've zoomed in too much. So you can kind of see the wings coming on there. Now I'm going to connect it down to the sort of this portion here properly. So what I do is I go in here, like that. Fill in all that. And it's very thin from then on in. So that way you got that nice wing going. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, you could extend that more, but I don't particularly want to. So it's more straight up from here, because once you close your eyes, it's going to give you more of a wing as opposed to sort of drawing an actual wing. It's all about manipulation. Now what I'm going to do... Oh, the lid comes out. The only problem I find with this Fenty liner is it bleeds. So if you look quite close at my eyes, you can see it's kind of bleeding a little bit. But we won't do that. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go in and kind of put some glitter all over the lid. I'm going to use Jezebel, which is this gorgeous holo there. And also I'm going to use Hilts, which is an actual holo silver. I don't know why it's coming out green, but it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I've got these two little Real Techniques brushes. I'm going to take Jezebel, and I'm going to go in with some Hilts in the very center. Now I've got to kind of fan that dry a bit. So, as you can see, I've done a few things slightly differently. What I've done is I've blended my eyeshadows a lot higher up into almost my brow bone here. The crease itself I've taken above my actual crease. So you can see that my fold of my crease is actually in here, but I've taken the actual up here, only because what that's going to do is leave you with a more open gap. My liner is, if you actually look at it straight on, it's going more there. So it's going in an up. But because of hooded eyes, we tend to relax this hooded brow bone here, and what happens is it pushes it more out. So that gives you the wing. So just with those few tricks, you can actually do all your cut creases and your hooded and all that sort of thing. Oh, actually, there you go. See how I've got that hood there? I've got a major hood coming in here. Like, perfectly, it would be right in there. I would have that tucked all in there, and it'd be no hood. But as you can see, I do have the hooded eyes. Yes. The other thing is lashes. Have them kind of coming more out as opposed to up, because what it's going to do, it's going to open the lid space on your eye, as opposed to if you had your lashes coming up like that, it just closes your lid space altogether. Now, having them coming out doesn't close your eyes up at all either. As you can see, like, I've got a hefty lash on there. Like, that's literally the lash I have on there. It's a huge lash. So, yeah. So, I hope you found something useful in this video. If not, I'm sorry. But if there's anything you need help with, write it in the comments. Let me know what you think. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.